Hi guys, I am back and today I would like to do a video to share with you some of the tips that I was able to gather throughout the 12 days that I recently spent in Paris with my husband and some friends. And I believe that I was going to do this at the end of all the videos for my 12 days. However, after giving it some thought, I feel like this video come out sooner is better for you guys who are looking to travel to Paris, because right now the US dollar is really strong. When I was in Paris last month, about 3 weeks ago, even though the US dollars already was already good, but compared to now even better. So as of today, $1 equal 98 cents euros, which means is if you buy something, all you have to do is add 2% and to that amount in euro that will come out in US dollars. That will be the amount that you pay in US dollars. So for example, if you pay 98 cent euros and you add 2%, that will be $1 US dollars. So that's what I did when I purchased most of my stuff, and I tried to do a quick calculation in my head, or using my phone. When I was back in Paris last month, I always add 0.6%. So the US dollar was a little lower at that point. Right now is you have to add 2%. Back then I had to add 6%. So anyhow, make it short that US dollar is really strong right now. We don't know how long that's gonna last. It might be stronger. It might be weaker in few months. But right now, all I can see is if you really want to go to Paris mainly for shopping, this will be the perfect timing in my opinion, because I remember back then 15 years ago I traveled to Europe. In Paris I have to pay 1.5 US dollar in order to change it to €1. So right now absolutely is the perfect time for travel to Europe, especially Paris, where all the designer house are. Alright guys, so let's see what are the things that we should avoid in Paris. The first thing, that as soon as you arrive at the airport, try to ignore people that follow you around, asking to help you with your luggage, to help to take you to your hotel, or even help you to carry your luggage to the cars, or take you to the train station, etc. Do not fall for that. All you have to do is just say no thank you, no thank you, or no merci beaucoup, no. So that's tips number one. Tips number two, try to avoid all the tourist traps. For example, so this happened to me, not this trip, but many years ago, and also 3 years ago when we were in Europe, in Rome actually. And the reason I mentioned about this scam, because it's happened to me twice. One was like I say 14-15 years ago, and the second time was just 3 years ago in in Rome. And I have seen a similar scam not happening to me but happening to someone else on the street, because like I have shared with you guys, we were sitting at the coffee shop a lot, just people watching and enjoy the beauty of the city. And I have seen similar things that happened to me in the past happening again right in front of my eyes. So I want to bring it to your attention. So I will share my own experience with you. When we were back in Rome, actually right in Vatican City, I saw two women, and I assumed there was a mother and the other one maybe an aunt or something, I don't know. But this two women like yelling and pointing at this little girl. She probably 5-6 years old, really young child. And this two women that keep pointing, and then one of the women I assumed was the mother, like literally spanked her in her butt. And this poor child was running and crying, and she ran right behind me and tried to use me as a shield. And I felt sorry for her, and I was shocked at the same time. I didn't know what to do, right? And she's so cute, that little little girl. So I kind of didn't know what to do, and tried to turn around and try to kind of catch her because she seemed like she slipped and about to fell down. And then at that point I was traveling with a friend of mine, and he was really fast. He grabbed the hand and he called my name, and I turned around. So it turned out that they play the distraction game with me. So that little girl tried to distract me, and one of the two women come and yell at me at the girl, and the other woman like was behind me tried to put her hand inside my my handbags. So I didn't lose anything because, like I say, my friend, he was really fast. So he grabbed her hand, and then he screamed at her, and then she just kind of, the woman who tried to pickpocket me, took it out and said something really loud, maybe cursing at us, and then ran away. So was the little girl, and then the woman who assumed was the mother who was spanking her. So the three of them just ran away after my friend able to grab one of her hand. But anyhow, I saw the similar incident in Paris this trip, which is a little bit funny but sad at the same time, when you see that they use children to to scam others. So we were sitting at the coffee shop, and same thing, this man and this woman fighting really loud with each other, and the woman has a little girl on her, little girl, I assume that's their child, and then the husband was like pulling the child, and they tried to fight against the child, and then the child was able to ran free from them and ran hide behind some pedestrian walking on the on the street. And so very similar things happen. It just remind me of that. But anyway, so that is one of the scams. So but this is my experience this time in Paris. It seemed to me it's a lot safer than it was many years ago. Maybe because of COVID, the city cleaned up better. Another scam that I also have seen right in front of the Eiffel Tower is the street games. So you will see there's a group of people surrounding 2 or 3 men, and this man will playing some cards, or playing some cup. They use a cup, and they try to do play some magic on the little mat. And you will see people actually involved and playing, and they look like tourists. They actually win money, lost money right in front of your eyes. So we were in the line for the Eiffel Tower, and a lot of people were watching, and for some reason there are some people come in and try to join them, and actually bet with money and things like that. But just so you know, all the people who actually play and dress like tourists, actually they are in the same group. So they baiting the real tourists, right? Make the tourists see that, oh, it's so much fun, and they are tourists, so we tourists, we can play with them. But at the end of the day, is a bait. They are actually know each other. All right, guys, so that is second scam in Paris that you should avoid. So in my opinion, if you travel to Paris, just ignore all the noise or the crowd. Just focus in the sightseeing, and then with your own group, don't really be nosy or be pay attention to other people around you. I mean, like for me, people watch, right? But what I mean is, don't be nosy like I did once in Rome, right? When I tried to protect that little girl, or I tried to lift her up, I could have lost my handbag if not for my friend who was able to stop the other woman right on time. She could have just yanked my handbag and ran, or pickpocketing. Now talk about restaurant. As I mentioned to you in my previous video, we able to make the reservation at the Eiffel Tower, the restaurant on the top of the Eiffel Tower, and some other restaurant. Now we were able to have about 4 nice dinners, like the Michelin star restaurant, and a nice restaurant like the one on the top of the Eiffel Tower. And there are something that I noticed, and I would like to bring it to your attention, is if you happen to make a reservation, especially at the restaurant on the top of the Eiffel Tower, to be sure, to be aware that they will make you pay at your reservation. So basically, for us, they say there will be 3 courses menu, liquor, not liquor, but wine and champagne are included, and the amount per person is $150 per person. So it was okay for me. That's for lunch. So I pay them, they send the link and we pay them, using the link, right? So in our mind, that lunch has already been prepared. So when we got to the restaurant, it's really nice restaurant and nice service. I don't know, maybe because miscommunication, or is it the tourist trap? I think it is the tourist trap more than a miscommunication, because they do speak English to us in every other, area. But when they brought out the menu, so on the menu, there's no price, but there is, 2 different pages. One is 5 course and one is 7 course. And when you look at the 7 course, it's more like, when you look at the 5 course, it's more like for vegetarians, and because there's, especially with limited French language, we couldn't understand the whole menu, but everything looked like vegetable, things like that. And the other 7 course menu for you to compare, and then the waiter asks you which menu you want. And then I forgot that, so I knew that we pay for our meal, but I did not remember that we pay for 3 course, because like I said, I did not really pay attention to how many course of lunch that we pay. All we knew is they sent us a link and we pay for for the meals. But anyhow, they did not give you the 3 course menu, right? So you did not know there is a choices that you can stick with your 3 course menu, or you like to upgrade to 5 course menu or 7 course menu. And during this time, the waiter did not explain to you like, Madam, or Monsieur, if you go with 5 course menu, this is gonna be how much, and you already pay how much. They did not go to that details. So we always do one or the other. So I would take one menu and my husband would take one menu, and we kind of share to see which menu is better. So this time we look at each other and we say, okay, so we do the same. And I say, sure. So we order the same. He ordered the 7 course, I ordered the 5 courses. And then they also brought out the wine menu. And before they even brought out the wine menu, they brought 2 champagne, 2 glasses of champagne. And then they give you the wine menu, and in the back of our mind that the prefix menu that we pay for, say, including wine and champagne. So we didn't know, we thought that the menu already included in the price that we pay. He just like Australian wine, so he picked out the Australian Chardonnay. And make the story short, at the end, after we done with all the lunch experience, the bill came out almost $1,000 more. But anyway, so that is things that you should be aware of, so you don't have to be in the awkward situation like we were. All right, so it happened a lot. So because of that first dinner, the next dinner that we were at, same thing, we pay almost $300, $295 per person for a 5 course dinner at one of the other restaurants. And it's also say champagne and wine are included, but this time we have learned a lesson. So when they brought out the 7 course menu, we did ask them that do we have to pay extra for the 7 course. If so, we would like to stay at the 5 course, and we would want to see the 5 course menu. And when we asked that, they actually give you the give us the menu for the 5 courses, which is a little, to me, is a little weird, because if you have the 5 courses menu, why didn't you give it out right away? Why you wait until we ask, right? And I am assuming that at the Eiffel Tower restaurant, if we ask for the 3 courses menu, they probably would bring it out too. But anyway, so that is the tourist trap in our book. So that's one thing that you should avoid. Oh, about taxi transportation. So like I have mentioned in my previous video, we try to walk as much as we can, because in our opinion, walking is the best way to see the city. Especially Paris is a beautiful city, and believe it or not, I feel like this trip, when we were there, everything is nicer, cleaner, and less less hassle, like 14-15 years ago. And I remember back then, when we walk on the street, we have to constantly look down on the road, because sometimes you will see, excuse my language, but dog poops and things like that, right? Not like a lot, but randomly you will see it. But this time I have to say that the street pretty clean. I haven't seen anything that dirty, or anything that would concern me. So that is really, really good that Paris has cleaned up, in my opinion. But try your best to to walk around the city. You will appreciate the beauty of the place. Anyway, so talk about taxi. If you can get Uber, get Uber, because Uber is a lot cheaper than taxi. I'm talking about between 20% to 15 to 20% cheaper taking Uber than taxi. And let me see what else. Oh, one more thing, when you take taxi, Uber, or even when you at the restaurant, keep in mind that tips is not mandatory. Tip is something, it's up to you. Most of the time, the price that you pay already including tips. So at first we did not know. Every time we take a taxi, we always give them tips equivalent to what we would pay here in the US, between 15-20%, additional as for tips, right? But at some point we noticed that we don't have to, because they really don't expect tips. I mean, there's some restaurant they do. They're pretty smart, because when they give out the receipt, right, the check, they already have tip included, but they always asking you, would you like to put extra tips? And as a habit, American habit, we always, sure, we put extra tips. So after the first one or twice happened, and we looked at the check, and we realized that the tip has already added on the amount, but the waiter or the waitress always asking us if we would like to do extra tips. And so it's up to you. If you feel, yes, they if you feel that you want to be more generous, then of course go for it. But what I try to say is you don't have to. Same thing with taxi, they don't expect you to give them extra tips after paying the fare. All right, let's see what else I want to talk about. So Paris weather is very unpredictable. We were traveling during the summer months, and early in the morning and also at night, after like 7-8 p.m., the temperature dropped. So early in the morning, when I first woke up after breakfast, we would get out and walk to wherever destination that we planned that day. It's always a little chilly for me, therefore try to bring a sweater with you. So my guess, because Paris is surrounded that big river, the Seine River, therefore the wind come in and out, very unpredictable. And also when you walk between the tall buildings, when the tall buildings are there, it's covered the sun, and it's can create some wind as well. And I was so happy that I able to get that train coat from Louis Vuitton, because without that coat, there was few days was really, really cold in Paris. This trip for me, and lucky I had that with me, so I was okay. And I have seen a lot of people asking on social media group that is Paris safe. I can tell you right now, it's very safe. I did not feel any dangerous or anything that unsafety about Paris this trip. I, people ask if they should wear their designer handbags or jewelry or how would they dress, things like that. I can tell you right now, I wear my designer jewelry, as you already know. I carry my designer handbags. So I actually bought with me two Chanel handbag, my classic flap and my black classic flap and my mini coco handle for crossbody. And when I was there, I able to get two handbags from Hermes, which I carry both. One is my lovely black box Kelly 25, and then the other one is the one that I will do the unboxing with you today. Actually, it's already been unboxed, but I will review what I got from Leon, Hermes shop in the city Leon. I lent this handbag to my friends and she just came back yesterday and I was able to get it back, so I will show you what I got from that store. So I carry both of my Hermes and Chanel every day and it was fine. I didn't have any incident or nothing that I feel nervous about when I carry my handbag. But again, I did not go to any ghetto area. We were staying in really in the center of the city, so I don't know, maybe it make a difference if you decide where to go. In case you decide where to go or you wanted to go to a a more downtown area, you probably want to bring an extra handbags that may be more casual, for that purpose. But anyway, to me, Paris was pretty safe. That's I can say. And then what else do you guys ask? Oh, one thing that you should keep in mind, that before you leave the US, you should go to your bank maybe a few days in advance and change some euro, because the exchange rate in the US is a lot cheaper or a lot better than you were in Paris, especially if you're in Paris and you exchange euro at some place that first of all, the language barrier. Second of all, they always try to, you cannot negotiate with them, right? Wherever the exchange rate they tell you, you have to take it. So in my opinion, the best way to do it is in the US, but don't change too much. Just change enough for you to spend on maybe taxi and tips. But like I say, a lot of people don't expect tip there, unlike you go to the Caribbean or Mexico or Cancun, where tip is really appreciated. In Paris, I don't tip. For the first few days I tips a lot, but after that I tend to get used to how they are, and I don't feel like we have to tip them every time, except for our breakfast in the hotel. Every day we tips, because I always ask for hot items from the kitchen, and to show our appreciation that they will always fulfill all the items that they're not served at the counter. We always tips them, and we also always tip our housekeeping, because they did a wonderful job for our room. And another thing, my other friends who came back from Paris back in April, she she got stolen two of her really nice ready to wear. So she purchased a Prada pair of jeans, and her husband purchased a jacket from Gucci, and both items were stolen in the hotel we stay at. They took everything, including the shopping bag, but they left the receipt. I mean, it's an unfortunate event for my friends, but it's just it's a bit it's funny that people actually steal your stuff in the hotel room. So anyway, just be careful where you stay. Try to I don't know how to do that, because hotels in Paris are they are pretty small, and they do have a safe box, but the safe box is really small. It's just big enough to hold your valuable stuff like your passport, maybe a little of your jewelry, things like that. The safe the safety box is not big enough to hold your clothes or your designer handbags. So my guess is if you already want to go to Paris for shopping, or for designer shopping, splurge yourself, then I would recommend that you should I don't know, stay at some a little bit nicer hotels to be safe. That's all I can think of. But anyway, we were fine. The hotel we stay at. In fact, I really appreciate all bellman and the concierge at our hotel. They were wonderful, to be honest with you. They helped us to make a restaurant reservation at really hard to get restaurant, and every time we came out, the bellman they always very eager to help, to call taxi for us, to help us with our luggage. And there are a few occasions that actually Hermes store delivery or shopping merchandise to the hotel, and we were not there. The bellman kept our shopping delivery and then delivered to our room when we came back. So all in all, I did not feel the fear of get stolen, but it happened to my friends and it happened to other people. So I guess it's just your luck, or the hotel you choose, right? So I guess we will luck out on this trip for everything. So thanks God. But anyway, so that's another thing, choose your hotel wisely. And let's see what else. I have to put a lot of notes because sometimes I don't remember. Yes, talk about the exchange your money. You can change your money in the US just enough for you to spend for first day or two, and then after that, if you have an ATM card and your bank, if you're banking, I'm just talking from my own experience. So my husband and I are banking with TD Bank and Capital One, and we know that these two banks, they don't have international fee. So let's say we travel to any country within their list, we can, it's a free, they don't charge us international charge. Same thing with the ATM machine, we can withdraw money without have to pay for the fee both way. So usually when you do ATM withdraw, they will charge you, your bank will charge you a fee, and then the bank of the ATM machine will charge you a fee. But with TD Bank, for sure, because we have done that and we didn't get any charge, is they will not only not charge you on their end, but they also reimburse you if the bank that owns the ATM machine charge you. They also reimburse you for that fee. So basically, anything that you spend in Europe or in any international country within their list, you will not be paying any fee. Now with Capital One, same thing. If you have their credit card and you pay with the credit card within those countries that including in their travel international list, then they will not charge you international fee. All right, so if you go to Europe or any international country, make sure to check with your bank to see if your bank allow that or waive that fee. All right, guys, and another tips for you guys: when you travel, when you shopping at all the boutique, when you check out your shopping, your items at the cashier, they always ask you, would you like to pay in euro or in US dollars? So it's up to you. If you have a bank account or a credit card with the bank that they don't charge you international fee, then you should choose US dollars, because that will save you about 5-6%. I'm not joking. But anyway, those are There's tricks here and there when it comes to shopping overseas, and how much you save depends on how much you know about the financial system work. So for quick lesson, in my opinion, is always make sure you have a credit card that allow free international travel. They don't charge you a fee. Always bring with you that credit card and use that credit card only. And also bring a spare ATM card, but don't bring, the card that linked to your big bank account, because, just in case you lost the card and someone get your information, they have directly linked to your bank account. You don't want to have too much money in that account, just to be safe. It never happened to me, but I think it just makes sense. So try to have a smaller bank account, with the limited amount on the debit card. That where you can do the transfer online if you need to, but otherwise, that also the debit card from the bank that have the international travel free of charge, so you don't have to get charged when you travel. And use that debit card to withdraw from the ATM overseas, because then you don't have to pay for the ATM fee, and then the exchange rate is always better, from your bank. Then you go to the people on the street or the bank in Paris and try to exchange your currency. All right, so that's a tips, very important tips. And let's see what else I have here. Oh yes, and at every shopping, if you're shopping at the designer shop like Cartier, Hermes, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, they always ask for your passport, and they do the VAT refund automatically, so you don't have to do it manually. When you get to the airport, all you have to do is scan your receipt, the paperwork that they gave you, through a machine, and they will refund directly back to your credit card, the same credit card that you pay your merchandise with. But that only work with the big, high-end designer shop. Most of the time when you go to a smaller boutiques, for example, I shop at a smaller boutique in Lyon for my niece and nephew, souvenir clothing and toys. They did not ask you at all, so you have to be the one that asks them if they have that refund process, and then they will, at that point, they will ask for your passport, and they will do that. But most of the time they will do it manually, which means is when you get to the airport in Paris, before you return to the US, you have to get a manual approval from a custom officer. So those receipts cannot be run through the machine like those receipts that you bought from the high-end boutique like Louis Vuitton, etc. So make sure, it's up to you. If you purchase a lot of small stuff from the smaller boutiques, then it makes sense to ask for that refund. But if you purchase just one or two small items, cost, I don't know, $50, $20 or $200, and you don't care about $5-10 VAT refund, then you don't have to go through all that hassle. But definitely for big price tax item, always make sure you get the VAT refund done for you, and don't forget to run those receipts and paperwork through the machine right before you check in. So don't make the same mistake that we made. So basically, we were there at the airport, and oh, by the way, just so you know, on the way go back to the US, the Paris airport was really crowded as well. It's overcrowded, and we tried to look for the VAT refund machine. We could not find any. So basically, they only have one machine, and the machine is pretty small. It's like an older ATM machine, and it's literally hidden behind some custom office. So it's really hard to find those VAT refunds. So my suggestion is, if you shop a lot in Paris, try to get to the airport at least about 4 hours early, earlier than your departure time, to give you some time for check-in. The security line check-in is crazy. You have to check in twice. For some reason, you have to do it twice. So each line, it takes about, I'm not joking, minimum 40-45 minutes. And our flight was the afternoon flight. So our flight leaving at 12:30. So we had to be there, and we were there at 9:30, which is 3 hours before even the departure time. And we were almost late for our airplane, just because we could not find the VAT refund machine. And anyway, that's another long story. But to make it short, get there as early as you can, especially if you shop a lot. If if you're not shopping in Paris, then that's fine. Just be there about 2-3 hours before departure time. But if you shop a lot and you want to get your VAT refund, then try to be there as earlier as you can. Maybe 4 hours, 5 hours, even better. And keep in mind, if you have more time at the airport, then there's more duty-free shopping inside the airport. So you're not gonna be bored. All right, guys. So the COVID guidelines, I haven't checked, since I came back from the US, but when we were there, which is the 4th week of June all the way to the 1st week of July, it's very lenient. Nobody wear mask, nobody require anything. We were back to normal 100%. But I don't know what is the guideline now. So that's something you have to check, and it's always better for you to check before you leave to have the up-to-date information, right? All right. So I was going to do the video on how to score your, Coda Hermes bag in Paris, but I guess the video getting long, so I will chop this video into smaller videos. So this video tonight that I'm doing tonight, just to cover all the tips that what should you do in Paris, what should you avoid in Paris.